It's your boy J Hardcore Boxing News back at you with what's happening in the world of boxing today. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. And it's Sunday evening now. I'm so glad to be back in the building with the good people of the Hangout. Yes, I'm so glad to be back up in here with the good people of the Hangout. And man, you know what tonight is. It's the Old Timers channel. Yeah. The 50 and plus. I can't even say it. 50 and over crew going to be on here tonight. Oh my goodness. We got the first guy up in the building, man. Hold on one second. Let me bring him in.
What it do?
Man, I'm going to tell you something, my brother. Watching you do that call the show, call the fight last night, my brother. Got me tired. Man, I don't know where you get all that energy from, but my brother.
Yeah.
Man, I was thoroughly impressed. That was my first time watching you call a fight.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I was thoroughly impressed. I'm a car dealer, you know, I have my wholesaler's license. Been doing it now for about 15 years. And man, you sound like an auctioneer in there, man. You know, you sound like them guys that be auctioning off the cars, man. You definitely have a talent for it. Have you ever did that before?
No, never.
Right. Trust me. You're a natural. You're a natural, man. Yes, indeed. You are a natural. Okay. You could do that without a doubt, man. So how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing real good. Yes, sir. I caught the text and I'm glad I caught you today. And everything.
I'm glad that you did it too. The rest of the family's going to be rolling in soon.
So, we had a good fight last night. You know.
How did you enjoy them?
Yeah, you know. Well, of course, you know, one by one, you know, Pacheco, he needed a lot of work done. He needed to work on a few things. He did learn. He was getting better as some rounds were going on, fighting on the inside. You know, because he's long, lanky, and he was using the jab a lot, and he threw that 1-2. But last night, he was up in the close quarters with a guy that came to fight. So he had to learn how to pretty much fight on the inside in the clinch, basically. And he was learning that, you know. So next time, you know, sometimes you gotta make adjustments in there. You know,
and do that adjustments, man.
Yeah. And that main event, man, you know, he got a gift last night because I had him losing that fight.
Before you go there, that's what we're gonna talk about tonight. So don't give up the goods yet.
Okay.
Yes, indeed, man. But we do got some upcoming fights coming up. What particular fight are you looking forward to seeing coming up?
Okay, well, definitely the Tank Davis fight and Frank Martin. I think that's going to be a great fight. And I hate to say it, it's probably selling already before everything go on sale yet, because everybody want to see how Gervonta do against a slick boxer, a guy that do know how to box like him, a guy same height. Everything. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what he's gonna bring to the table. You know.
Yeah, a lot of people are interested. They always talk about, hey, Tank don't fight a slick black fighter, this, that, and the third. But I tell you what, man, I seen a video of him today. Shorty is ripped up.
Wow, he not drained, huh? Okay.
No,
I don't know what he got that from. Wow.
He weighed in at 138 2 weeks ago.
Right, 138. Right, going in.
Yes, but it's a video out there he dropped today, and I'm gonna tell you, man, the boy, I ain't seen him look like this before. Matter of fact, I'll make sure I send the video to you.
Yeah, I want to check that out. Yeah.
I haven't seen him look like that. Not the way he's looking right now, man. I'm seeing good abs and everything. What's up, brother Marvin? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you?
Hey, how you doing, Marvin?
Hey, what's up, man?
Yes,
hey, but hey, look, talking about Tank, man. I've been knowing Tank since he was about 8 years old, and Tank is an excellent boxer. People don't know. I watched him come up from a pup, and he can box. But I'm
Mhm.
saying at times, why do you have to box when you knock a person out? But he can box too. He's an excellent boxer, man. Very good boxer.
Yeah,
A
well,
lot of
yeah,
people don't know that, man. I watched him from a pup on up.
right. Yeah. See, that's the thing a lot of people don't know. Me myself, I saw Fallen Tango about, I don't know, about when he first got with Floyd. But that's when I started really getting into Javante Davis. And I said, well, he's just a power hitter and he just hits hard. That's all. But then when I saw him box, I said, okay, he got some skills too. He could fight on the back foot and
Yeah.
he can fight on the front foot, and he fight in mid range pretty good. So I said, okay, he's a pure boxer,
Yeah.
so I said, wow, but I don't like the disadvantage though. I don't like, him fighting at, let's say, 130, and you find a guy that rehydrate up to almost a welterweight almost. I don't like the mismatch too much. I'd like an even playing field kind of. But when he went up to 140 with Barrios, I thought that was a mismatch there, but he showed us something there. He showed us that he can box right there. So everything ain't just knockouts, you know, and
Yeah.
and and that's why I ask people, do you want the knockout or do you like a guy that box? I like them both.
Me
You
too.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
I like to break them down and get them out of there.
Yes, indeed. My thing is this, man. He
Uh,
showed us with the pit bull fight that it don't make a difference, man.
yeah,
I give you what you want. I
Right.
mhm,
give you what you want. It don't make no difference. And he was one hand shorty on that one. You dig?
Yeah.
But yet he still maximized and did everything he needed. And the boy got beautiful feet, man. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
right,
And that's a great thing right there. He got beautiful feet. Some
yes,
people might
sir.
not think so, like Troy Graham, but he has beautiful feet.
Mhm,
What's up? What's up, Troy?
mhm.
Bless up. I didn't hear what you said. I just heard you say my name, brother. I just
I
heard you
said
say my name.
I was messing with you. I said Tank has beautiful feet, but I say some people like Troy Brown might not believe that though.
No, but you see the man to the right of me. I actually know what he knows about Tank.
Okay.
So, like I said, I'm a fan of Tank's.
Oh,
There's some
okay.
of the crazy fans that think he walks on water. That that
He don't.
that
He
that
don't
really
walk
get
on
it.
water. He don't walk on
Walks
water.
on water. Uh-uh.
I
Neither
thought
did
I think
Jesus. Neither did Jesus. It's just a parable to make followers into believers.
I believe.
AKA
I
Rakim
believe.
said that.
I believe he
Well,
rocked.
well. He got a lot of believers.
And ain't no water.
Yeah,
Wait, where's he walking on water at, Marvin? At the harbor?
Well, that's how he started.
Yeah. Okay, well, tell him to turn that water into wine. Then I want to see him turn the water into wine.
Well,
Is
you
it
got to pour some.
uh,
Got to pour some
is
wine
it
in there
possible
first.
I can get y'all to turn your phone sideways so that way they'll fill up the screen? If possible. If not, that's fine too. Okay, yours didn't turn. When yours turned, it didn't do it. Okay. All right. All right. All
I'll
right.
say shout out to the brother up in the corner there, boxing. I can't see KO. Was it
KQ,
K?
just call me KQ.
Yeah, I've been in your chat a couple of times. You ran me off because people didn't. We had a disagreement about something you were talking about. Yeah,
Who ran you off? Me?
yeah, brother.
Hey
What
Troy,
happened?
he
Well,
get
it's
run
all
off
good.
everywhere though. That ain't nothing new.
Hey,
They run
it's
him
all
out
good.
everywhere.
Did I block you?
I don't know about blocking, man, because I
Oh,
never
okay,
came
okay,
back.
okay.
Yeah. I never came back. Once you disinvite me, I'm done with you.
Yeah, I don't block people. That's why I was gonna ask you. Yeah, I just like to hear their opinion now. So yeah. I like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, I just let them, speak. So, but but I appreciate you, man. You always welcome, man. All right. Now I know your name, Troy Graham. Yeah,
The
Yeah.
Troy Graham experience.
experience. Okay,
Please,
Experience.
please say the experience. Please say the experience.
experience. The peaceful soul. Hey, Arena, how you doing? All right.
That man got more shit than a constipated dinosaur, boy.
Hey, it works, baby. It works.
Man.
It ain't working if you're constipated.
You're supposed to be on my side, Marvin. You're supposed to be on my side.
Man, hey, did you catch the ladies last night?
I did.
Not the ladies fight. I'm talking the ladies off camera.
Shields and
Yeah.
Shields and Baumgartner.
Yeah.
That fight is never gonna happen because Shields is too big for her. She's just too big.
Yeah. I don't think they can find a happy median when it comes to weight. You know what I'm saying? Because
she's too small.
Shields not going to go past 154, and Baumgartner is not going to go past 147. They're giving up too much of an advantage either way.
Right.
You know, so I don't think we get that fight. I mean, it's fun for shits and giggles. What we gonna get? That's about it. You know, them talking smack to each other. But them finding a happy medium, me personally, I don't think
it ain't gonna be none.
Yeah,
because neither one of them gonna give in.
Yeah, why give in? You know what I'm saying? You know, unless it's just some crazy money, just some crazy money that makes.
Right. Still don't need to give in to her. Still don't need to give in to her.
Pride, man, keeps you broke. So whatever kind of crazy money they have, both of them in their feelings, and they ain't gonna give in.
Yeah. Shields is just too big. You know, even when she was standing next to her, you know, she was dwarfing her, man. She's just way too big for that girl.
Well, she fights what, 168?
Where'd she fight at, Marvin? She fight 168?
Well, she fights she did about 3 of them. I think she went down to welterweight one time. Then she went up to the lowest middleweight. Then she 168. So I'm saying she bumped up and down, but I know she ain't gonna go no further than 47.
Right, and I think
54.
I think Shields said the lowest she's been is 54.
Yeah.
Yeah, 54, and she undisputed at 154. She was right.
I think 3 different divisions. How you doing, Mr. Will?
All right, how's everybody?
Keeping it.
What's up, man?
All right, how you doing,
brother? How you doing? Are you sitting in your car?
All right. Yeah, I'm driving right now. I'm sorry about being in the darkness like this.
All right, well, just be safe, brother. Yeah, I was asking because it was dark, but be safe.
Trying to get back in town.
See, I can't do that. I run into a wall, man. I can't do that. Oh, for real. I just not coordinated. I went to get my truck driving license. I told the whole facility. They told me not to come back or they're going to put me in court.
He was in the passenger seat when he did that.
Man, I panicked and ran into the wall, man, and tore the whole garage, man.
What type of vehicle was you driving? 18-wheeler?
A truck. Yeah, 18-wheeler. I was trying to get my truck out like a while back, you know. Man,
yeah, I wouldn't have let you come back either, my brother.
Yeah, man. They said if you come back, man, we'll sue, take you to court. You know, I said I never go back. I don't drive past there no more.
That's
for real.
Oh my goodness,
man, no way. What's up, Mike Rand? What's going on? Man, being boxing news. All right.
I got a question. Did y'all see the fight last night with Hitchison? Because I have.
Yeah, we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that. So that's what the topic is tonight. The topic tonight was it robbery or nah? So we're gonna get into that. We're definitely gonna get into that, and we also gonna talk about that 140 division, man, because it is a division that is smoking.
Yes,
smoking.
Wow.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that division, man. And
you said 140 smoking?
Yes. It's stacked, man. Not even counting the champions. Not counting champions. You know, you still got other guys down there under the champions.
Yeah. You got some up and coming ones too.
Yeah. Because I want to see, like I said, I want to see the Pitbull versus Subriel Martinez fight. You could put Prograis in with Gary, Antoine Russell.
Yeah. Right. I tell you what, why don't we just get started? Because I know y'all want to get started. Let's get started. We got at least 5-6 people in here right now, so that's perfect. The fight last night, man, was definitely controversial, and it's been buzzing all week long. Since this morning, I just seen Richardson Hitchens just go live right now. So he's probably talking about it right now. It'd be lovely we could get him in here.
Well, yeah.
But I tell you what, we'll start out with KQ, man. The fight yesterday. What do you think, man? Was it a robbery or Nah, and would you like to see a rematch? If not, I mean, if
I,
it is a robbery.
I love to see Hitchens make some adjustments and have a
Okay.
rematch. But
Okay.
robbery, no. I won't
Okay.
think it was a robbery.
Okay.
I think Hitchens pulled it out. He had a good 12th round. Only problems I think he had really was that 7th and 8th round.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't think he was expecting Lemos to come out there with the overhand right. He knew he was a pressure fighter, but he didn't know he was going to get pressure like that. We talking about for 12 rounds. Every 3 minutes of each round, he was pressing him. Then, Hitchens had a little dog in him because he stopped moving, using that lateral movement, stood there in the pocket and trying to throw some. And he was throwing some because Lemo was coming in with his head down. And so he was trying to catch with the uppercut. But then I think he got a little hesitant when he got hit with that overhand right. Hitchens pretty much kind of like, he kind of pulled out some. He pulled back. And
Mm-hmm.
but he stayed on the ropes, not intentionally, but accidentally,
Mm-hmm.
going back. Coming from trying to get out the way of Lemos, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a bad idea. He should have circled himself instead of going straight back because Nemo, that's when he was going to shoot his load. So I won't say it was a robbery. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
a very, very close fight. And
Who did you Who did you give it to?
I gave it to Hitchens because he
Okay.
did make some adjustments, and he did make just enough to pull it out.
Okay.
I had it as a split decision. Now they
Okay.
had it unanimous decision, and I don't think it was.
Yeah, I ain't seen no unanimous.
Yes,
Yes.
so that's how I had it. You know,
Okay.
so
Marvin
but
McDowell, did you see the fight last night?
No, no, man. I don't pay for fights, man. And I'm so mad that Showtime is gone, man.
Mm,
You
hmm.
know, so
yeah,
I usually catch the fights
Hmm.
on catch repeats, but I don't see them firsthand
Okay. Did you catch any
unless they're on
highlights?
ESPN or whatever.
Did you
You
catch
know,
any highlights last night or this
I didn't
morning?
even see any highlights.
Okay. Okay. So, but we're gonna talk about the 140 division. You definitely know about that. So, Troy Graham,
Yes,
give me
sir.
what you see, man. Tell me what you get.
What I saw last night was when it came to Hitchison, he wasn't moving back to the ropes. He was being driven back to the ropes. That guy was driving him back to the ropes.
right,
He didn't move back on his own accord. And he did that thing that likes to call taking pictures in the ring. He would throw his combinations and pause. What
hmm
the hell? I mean, throw his
Watching his work.
combination, pause, and then hold the guy. I can't. And then that guy that he was fighting won that fight. He was nonstop. He landed more punches. He was driving him back. Even even in the moments where Hitchison did do whatever he did, it wasn't enough to win the round. And he looked like an amateur to me. There's a there's a guy that Marvin trains right now, Mojo. Mojo will beat Hitchison. And I'm not just saying that because I know Marvin. I just really believe he'll beat him. He looked
Well,
like an amateur last night.
let me ask you something, Troy. Do you think Hitchens wasted a lot of time over at Mayweather Promotions sitting on the shelf, and all that time he couldn't have been getting better?
I, Based on what I saw, I'm going to say yes. But last night was not a good outing for him because he lost that fight, and they actually gave it to him. He lost that. Then he came out and talked about Devin and everybody else. He can't beat them people.
Yeah,
He can't.
yeah,
No.
yeah. Okay, okay. All right, all right.
Mr.
And
Will,
Yes, sir.
what do you think
Yes,
about
sir.
last night? What do you think about last night?
I, I didn't see it either. I didn't see that card last night.
Okay, okay. Well, I watched it last night. Now, I came in early. I mean, came in a little late because I fell asleep early. Because that man, they told us that the fight was going to be Saturday. That fight came on Sunday morning. You know what I mean?
yeah, it was late. It was late when it went
It
off,
was
man.
good
Yeah,
late, man. Yes, indeed. And
Yeah,
by then, I'm
they've got to do better with that. They
the
yeah.
definitely got
zone.
to
Yeah,
do better with that.
Who was
yeah,
promoting that fight?
the
That
zone.
was a match.
Yeah,
Matchroom with the
Metro.
zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Oh, Luke DeBella.
yeah, I had a few bourbons, so they caught up with me a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I tell a lot of people, a lot of fights don't mean it's a good card because you stack a card. That don't mean it's a good
That's
card.
true.
You know, it just
That's
you got a
true.
lot of fights. That's all.
Yeah,
I would see the headliner.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
totally.
You know, how was he the headliner? I mean, does he have a big fan base? How was he the headliner?
You talking about Hitchens?
Yes, sir.
No, he don't have a big because I saw a lot of empty seats in there last night, and that's what I'm saying. At Mayweather Promotions, he never got a chance to get out and
I
practice.
didn't even know he was with Mayweather Promotion.
Yeah, he was with Mayweather Promotion for about 3 years,
Yeah,
almost. Yes.
and they had
And
him on the shelf like that.
yes. And
They
him
got
and
a bunch
Tank
of
is good friends. Yeah.
they got a bunch of fights. Don't they have over 200 fights?
No,
No, how many fighters they have?
not Mayweather Promotions, though.
Oh, I'm
No.
talking about PBC.
Yeah, PBC. Yeah, they got a lot of fighters.
PBC has 165.
I forgot all about Mayweather Promotions because he don't even talk about it.
Right.
I believe between 135 and 165 right now, because I remember asking the question recently, and I think I think the guy that I talked to at PBC told me about 165 of what they had over there.
Yeah.
All right, so as I was saying, I watched the fight last night myself. I caught a look. I didn't come into about the fifth round, but from those rounds on, man, I'm gonna be truthfully honest. I was giving it to Hitchens, man, or I could took a draw from what I seen. It seems like the guy was the aggressor. He had the better ring generalship, man. He was and all I seen from Hitchens was a lot of holding, man. And
right.
And I don't blame him, man, because the kid was putting him on Queer Street, man. His legs were was a lot of wobbleness going on. You dig? But
he had to hold, man, to keep them punches off of him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the ref didn't take no points, so he did what he's supposed to do to survive. Right. I was impressed with his recuperative powers, man. Because I'm gonna be honest, man. Around the 7th or 8th round, I thought he was gonna get knocked out.
Me too. Me too. I said, man, this might be the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah,
man, he got hit with that. Yeah.
And all the shots that he was hitting Lemos with was not being. Lemos wasn't being effective. There maybe 1 or 2 shots. It did make him back off for a minute, but then he started coming right back forward again.
Yeah, he looked at his he said, I like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man. I mean,
how old is Hitchens?
27, 28, maybe.
Because him and Tank are good friends.
Really?
Yeah.
You look like an amateur.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. But yeah, man. So I was like, wow, man. I said he could possibly lose this fight, but then I really started thinking, well, he at home, and they got plans on money for him, so they're gonna make sure that that he wins. But I'm gonna tell you, I was getting Marcos Madonna vibes, and that's who came here with him.
Yes, I saw him in the dressing room.
Yeah, because he's from Venezuela.
Yeah, so they
Argentina.
Argentina. Sorry, yeah.
My thing about that, I haven't found a guy from over there yet. All of them hit hard, man. I don't know why every damn person from Argentina hit hard, man.
And don't step back.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in the beef. And they all got that overhand right, man. All of them got that too. They just teach that before the jab.
Yep, for real, man. Because the Argentinians, man, they don't back up. Yeah.
So I mean, if I had to put $1 on it and say who won, man, I would have had to give it to the kid from Argentina, man. But the only problem is I didn't get the first 5 rounds because, like I told you, I overslept, so I didn't get to see that.
The same thing.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
What the back end? I only seen the back end, so I can't really know for sure. But for what I've seen, I said this was going to. I said the kid should win or draw. I thought they were going to just draw it and just rematch it because But I tell you what, one thing I feel though is that Hitchens should have learned a lot from that fight, because that's a learning fight right there.
Exactly.
He should have learned a lot from that fight. He should have learned a lot about himself from that fight. You know what I mean? And he's not an inside fighter, so that's not his game at all. But it did show that he will rumble if he have to. And I like that about him. But what I did say to myself when they said that this was the eliminator to fight Matias, I'm like, wow. If Matias catch him with one of them joints,
he's going to get knocked out by that. He's going to get knocked out by that.
Exactly.
That's just how I feel about it, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Hey, Troy, I knew you looked like you was itching to say something. What you got for me, man?
No, brother. I'm just saying that if he fights Matias, he's going to get knocked out. He has nothing to keep him off him. Nothing. Right. And he doesn't have to me, he look like he has the boxer skills to actually stop him, because if he's supposed to be a boxer, why are you being driven all the way? Why are you being forced to go backwards? Why not you spin this guy, pivot, or do something? He wasn't doing any of that. He was he's just allowing himself to be driven right back, and he has the longer arms.
It might be that he didn't really prepare for that fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it has a lot to do with who's trained them too, man. You know,
that's what I was
adjustment.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Cause Hitchens got a long reach, and he got that long body, and he's a better outside fighter. He's not very good on the inside, and you can see last night how he was working the jab. I mean, he was just hitting him with the jab back in his face, but it wasn't enough to keep him at bay with it. You know, he just kept coming and coming. You know, he go down small, and he's Hitchens is taller than he is, and he still was sticking the jab, but he was getting backed up. And like Troy was saying, he was getting backed up by Lemos. He didn't go back; he was getting backed up. And now, and anybody know you boxing, you don't go backwards; you go side to side.
Yeah.
And you're right. He did a little amateur like, and he learned from that fight though. See, he learned from that fight, and that was a good time to learn too. Because a lot of guys,
we hope he learned.
yeah,
exactly. We hope he learned. Right. We hope he learned, because a lot of guys don't get that type of skill set till they get a little older, or never come across a fighter like that. Some of the guys got their careers kind of mapped out a little bit, but he did what he could out there. But you're right.
Yeah, but then too, that comes to, it has a lot to deal with the trainers too, man.
Yeah.
See, the trainers have to have the ability to convince him and to get him to work on certain things so that he can make that adjustments and stuff. So like even though he had to go out there and do this thing on his own, right? You still got to have some kind of idea of how to do these things to make them adjustments and practice them adjustments, when he's training and getting ready for fights and stuff. That's where all that importance comes with an experienced trainer too, man.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I got to say this about that, Mom. What it is, some guys are unteachable.
Right.
Hence
I can agree with that.
Deontay Wilder, he's not teachable.
Right.
He's had some decent guys in his corner. Remember when he had Mark Breland for a while? He had Tim Witherspoon with Breland in his corner. That was a heavy corner, man. And he didn't pick up absolutely anything.
And I heard that about him, is that he don't listen to anybody.
You can see he doesn't even have the fundamentals down pat.
Right.
He throw that right hand like he throwing a damn baseball.
Yeah, but Mr. Will, he's
out there windmilling. That's what he's doing.
Wilder's the king, Mr. Will. He doesn't. He's the king.
Okay.
KQ over there saying, I see why I ran you out of my channel.
He a Wilder fan. He's a Wilder fan too, so it's all right.
I mean, I like Wilder as a person, but I don't think he's that great of a fighter because he don't have the boxing skills.
I was just being facetious about that.
I know. I just mess with you. But when he fought Parker, why is he trying to box? He's not a boxer. He never had been. He's a one-arm fighter, and he got to set that up, and he don't set that up correctly. Now, I think he did better with Mark Brillon as a trainer.
Yeah,
I don't
because Mark had him using that jab, man.
Yes,
to set up that crazy right hand that he threw.
Exactly. And Mark Brillon he was a hell of a
I was going to say, as far as Wilder goes, the novelty wore off. That's all I can say. Real simple. The novelty definitely wore off.
We got Manny Riviere in the building. My brother is a promoter. You dig? For sure. Good to see you, my brother. It's been a minute since we had a talk. Hard hitting promotions, right?
Yes, sir. God bless you all.
Bless you. We got George Hansen in here, the Pope of Pugilism. What's up, George? How you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling good now. I saw my man Manny Rivera, man.
Blessings to you, George.
That's my man, Manny Rivera.
George Hansen, you might be relative to me. You might be my relative. We got the same last name.
You never know, man. The Hansen go a long way. Where are you originally from?
My parents were from Arkansas, and I'm here in Illinois. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm Jamaican. The Hansons in Jamaica come from Portland and St. Elizabeth. So if you have some Jamaican roots, we might be related.
Okay. I ask.
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, since we got two new fellas in the building, we're going to ask the questions that have already been asked to the both of you all. Manny, did you catch the fights last night?
I did not. I apologize. I did not. I spent it with the family. Had some family time. I don't get that all the time to be able to be with the whole family. And last night was one of those nights. So I did not. I'll be a student tonight.
All right. George, did you?
Oh, I had the fight on, but I fell asleep after the second round. I'm dead serious. I
guess I didn't miss nothing.
and I woke up at 1 a.m. and I went to bed. And then I went online and saw some of the commentary that one guy said that Hitchens lost. He should fire his trainers. And those comment was, he got a gift. Then I went back and I watched the highlights from the fights, right? And, then I went back and looked at amateur tape of Hitchens when he fought Jerron Anderson amateurs. But while I was working, I was doing something and I had your show on my TV. So I kept hearing the back and forth and about Richard Hitchens. And it's a lot. I'm very critical of boxers, but I look at Richard Hitchens and I'm just so frustrated with a lot of boxing today because I look at the guy he's fighting. The guy was so short, you could see his feet on his driver's license. And here you are, 5 feet 10 inches with a 74-inch reach, right?
Right.
And you can't. I don't know what's wrong with 90% of these fighters. Everybody tap with a jab. It's not like it's a weapon. Then the guy's coming in. And you don't bend your legs. The couple times you did dip your legs, you hit him with uppercut, and you're backing up. You're not fighting Mike Tyson. If you had a steady jab, you could hit that guy with uppercut or right hand. But I don't know a lot with these fighters, man. And I don't mean to be critical, but I do mean to be critical. God bless Richard Hitchens. He got based on everything I've read, he got an early Christmas present. But if you ever think about getting in there with Subriel Matisse, I hope he has burial insurance.
I was going to say that, man. I was going to say that dead man walking, dead man walking.
Yeah.
Bernard Hackins, how you doing today, bro?
Hey, good morning, brothers. How are y'all doing today?
All right.
What's up, Bernard?
Right. How you doing?
Where you at? You telling us good morning, man?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Overseas somewhere?
Nah, I think my wife just wore me out today, working and doing the stuff she needed me to do. So it feel like morning,
Honey-do
You
list.
had a honey-do list, huh?
man. And that list was running long.
Yeah, I want to shout out. I want to shout out Brother Hackett. He came on my show a while back. The Troy Graham Experience.
Okay, yeah, man.
Yeah. I called him a DC hustler. We went back and forth about the PBC and Spence fight and all that. So yeah.
Okay.
How you been, brother?
I've been good, brother.
Messing with people everywhere, huh, Troy?
He was in my house, man. He came on the Troy Graham Experience.
Oh, Lord, boy. Can't take you nowhere. Everybody got the same
That's
feeling.
why you take me everywhere.
Definitely not like American Express. I'm gonna leave you at home, Jack. hey, but nah, you catch the fights last night?
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
Tell me what you think about that the headliner.
I think Richardson Hitchens showed a lot of heart. I do think he did show that because he got hurt with some shots that I thought he was going to go from. I think if this was the eliminator that they called it, and Subriel Matisse is his title shot, I think he better really go to the board and figure out who he is as a boxer. You know because it seemed at times that he wasn't sure of who he was. The one thing, I've heard him compare himself before, say, I am a boxer, I'm not a banger, I'm not a puncher. But you still have to go in there with an adequate game plan that you think can be victorious against a guy. Yesterday, I think he didn't use his jab effective. I've seen him use a way better jab than that. I think he allowed pressure to dictate the pace and speed that he was going to go. I think a lot of times when he would make separation and had the space to figure out how he was going to do something, at some point I thought he should have sat down on 2 hard punches and see if it make him respect him. And I didn't like the fact he was using a single jab. I think he should have been doubling, tripling his jab. If he go from a double, triple jab to the head and stab to the body, it opened up opportunities for the right hand hook. Even if it doesn't hurt him, they're clean, effective punches. And I think it would have took a lot of the booing away that came towards the end. I think he did a little too much holding. I think that kind of hurt in the eyes of a fan. If you're trying to put yourself in a position to fight for a world title, first of all, you understand boxing, they want to see those punchers. And if you're not that guy, you got to be the matador who knows how to outthink the bull, not hope you can grab him by the horn and not get shoved into the wall.
Yeah, he was trying to keep them hands off him. That's why he was grabbing.
Yeah. I think, and then I think the referee was looking at it a lot one-sided. I think he looked at everything that that Richardson Hitchens would do, and it was okay. But then when Lemos would do the same thing, and even not as much of it, then it was like, hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to do that. So,
biased, didn't he?
Yeah. Do anybody feel though that they should have took a point?
Yes, they should have. I think there was too many clinches.
Yeah.
I get it. You got to do what you got to do to win, survive. And he did get hurt. I saw at least once with that overhand right. And of course, what you do, you hold, till you take them cobwebs out, so I saw him looking at the clock a lot too. So he might have been a little winded too,
Even in the highlights, if you watch the highlights, you see holding. It's just holding.
Yeah. And I actually, got to put a little bit of blame on his opponent and his opponent's corner, because I never heard them one time give him the admonition of, hey, look at him. He's done. When you feel him hold, don't try to snatch away with the separation because he's only holding one arm. Use the other hand. They never implemented They implemented the concept of getting close, but they never implemented bully tactics once you got close. It was get you 2 or 3 shots. If he grab you, wait for the break. I just as much as I don't think Hitchens won, I also don't think he lost. I don't think they did what they had to do to beat him.
They also didn't use.
Yeah, fighters got to understand where they are in fights. You know, you can't tell me you don't know that you're the B-side guy coming in this fight. And if you know that, even within you as a fighter, even if your corner doesn't say nothing, you have to say, I got to pick it up because I can't just win in the eyes of everybody else. I have to be dominant. And that guy knew he had to be dominant yesterday. Hitchens knew he wasn't dominant, but you let him off the hook. It was several times when Hitchison was visibly hurt, and he would get to the point where they were standing in front of each other, but then stop advancing. Why are you stopping? Keep going. He's hurt. He's not looking like he's mounting the offense. He's looking to grab. So I blame him, and I blame the opponent in his corner just as much as, you know, I say Hitchison didn't win. You didn't beat him.
So you think Lemos came in with the aggression of ineffective aggression?
Yeah, I think it was ineffective. I mean, I just didn't like the fact that a lot of times he got close and he just didn't look to be the busy guy or the stronger guy. He was clearly the stronger puncher. I think instead of trying to get 5 off, put 2 together. Might be right hand hook, right hand, or dig to the body, and just, you know, let that, see what you get out of that. But, you know, I think it was in the 6th round, he threw a nice overhand and clipped him with space. And you can see he hurt him. He didn't jump back on him to do anything but score points. At that point, I wouldn't tell, man, the guys who are monsters, the true monsters, because you got guys that got punching power, but they're not monsters. They're docile boxers. But true monsters, I tell you this, and I tell anybody, if you know my son, let Jalil hurt you like that, you will not make it out of that round. You will not make it out of that round. And that's the part that I didn't see yesterday from his opponent. It wasn't.
Is that the daddy talking or the coach talking?
Both.
Both.
Also, you know, they didn't use the referee. You know, the brothers' corner didn't use the referee for all that holding. They should have planted that seed in the referee's head. Like, look, he keep holding my damn fighter.
Yeah,
right. None of that.
Sometimes you get corners that get the best tickets in the house. They was $300,000 tickets for free because they did more watching than they did more working. Yeah, that's your job. That's your job as the coach, to be on the referee's ass.
Yeah,
right.
And they didn't say a word. You know,
I guess they want to be proper.
Hey, that's just as bad.
They want to come back. They want to come back.
Yeah. But once again, if they would have did their job, they would have guaranteed themselves coming back.
Came back with a bigger paycheck too.
Yes. I mean, if you thought last week's corner work when Zoo got cut was horrible, then this is of the same level. The horribility was the same. One was inadequate dealing with a cut. The other one was inadequate dealing with the referee.
You know what? I'm glad you brought
that a new word?
Right. I'm thinking about. I'm like, hey, he in the hangout, so yes, that we accept that word. We accept it, and we put it in the hardcore. The source.
Hey man, I gave you the wrong word, but they ain't give you no words. I bet you, if you ask him, he'll take my wrong word on Sunday because he wish they would have said it on Saturday.
No. If I got a question for all of y'all here, because you know, Brother Hatchet brought up about the corner word. Why is it that we're seeing it's actually a two-part question. Why is it we've seen a lot of these fighters nowadays that don't do the subtle things, like the brother was saying, jab to the head, jab to the body, things like that. But you also seen a failure in the corner. So you know what's going on overall in boxing, that we see in these shortcomings, and we're not seeing the subtle things we used to see.
Well, a lot of times the boxers are not thinking; they just going out there reacting.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the boxers not doing.
What about the corners though? You know, shouldn't the corners be able to?
But the corners don't know what to tell them because they can't counter what's in front of them. A lot of them don't have the knowledge. A lot of them are Instagram fans.
Yeah, they trying to OJT these kids' careers, man. They trying on the job training with them. Look how
they just want to
many
be a
fighters
part
you
of
see.
it.
Yeah, you look how many coaches you see in corners, and them dudes ain't got a lick of experience. I'm not talking about they weren't fighters. They haven't coached anybody anywhere, but he cool with the guy, so that's the guy he got.
Yeah, they just lucked up, you know.
I mean,
and built a relationship with the guys, and you know, it's just crazy, man. You don't really have no real boxing people out there no more.
Yeah, because you see a lot of that when the brothers come back to the corner, and the people in the corner are just repeating what they said from round one on and on. You telling me from round one that you don't see nothing different? Just go out there, keep doing what you're doing, or go out there. You're not giving them instruction.
Because nobody's training anymore. They're nobody's training anymore. They're living off the talent of that kid. And when he runs into somebody that not just has talent, but they have a knowledgeable corner and they have a high IQ, that fighter becomes a victim. They become a victim. And then a lot. Look at what they do. You got a lot of young fighters that I think had great amateur careers. They had a great amateur team that had them from when they was 5 years old. But when they turn pro, somebody get in their ear and say, "Hey, man, you got to have a more experienced corner." And some of them dudes, they ain't worked with nobody that was winning in years. And in some cases, you done took your kid to some of these guys' gym, and your kid done beat the skin off these dudes' behinds. Then they talking about he be a better coach for you. How? If I'm whooping your ass, then what can you honestly say gonna be different if I come let you coach me?
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you,
it's the preparation of
when you see those inexperienced coaches back in the day when people did get a chance like that. You normally would see an OG in the corner too, man. You don't see that anymore, man. There used to be always the OG in that corner, man, to help guide you. We don't see that no more, man. I'm gonna tell you something I didn't like a little bit last night. In Richardson Hitchens' corner, man, there was too many people giving him instructions at one time. It was three different people saying something all at the same time, man. And I was like, wow. Then they had your Zab dad in there, man. So you definitely had some intelligence in there, without a doubt. But it was three people saying something to him all at the same time, and I just don't think that should have.
Who's his trainer, brother? Who's his trainer? Because you said Zab.
Joel Judah. I saw.
Judah's his trainer.
I don't know. I saw
him.
He
helped out. He probably helped out.
Okay, who's it? Okay, he's an advisor. So who's his head trainer? Because head trainer should have took charge and said no.
I'm not sure. Anybody
like you won't see that. You won't see that like when Marvin's in the corner. You're not gonna hear more than one voice.
So because when before everybody fight, I have a meeting with them, and I'm the only one talking. If you want to say something, you wait for me to finish talking. Then you say nobody talks at the same time, because there's confusion. And like it's like cheerleading, So I always tell everybody, look, wait until everybody finishes what they're saying, and nobody talk at the same time, because it's crazy. I don't like that at all, man.
And then on top of that, the brother's 27, and a lot of stuff that he was doing, he should have been learned how to move and all that at 27. That's not a young age in boxing. That's like mid. I mean, he should have learned how to pivot, turn, and use his jab and all that by the age of 27. How many years has he been a pro? I don't even know how many years he's been a pro.
He's an Olympian too.
He was on the 2016 Olympic team.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. He should have more experience.
Yeah.
He should have more experience.
Well, it's different, especially if he was at the Olympic training camp, and then you go back home and man, that stuff that they showing you there, man, this is what you learned here. This is what I taught you. Because if you make the Olympic team, man, they have Olympic trainers and stuff. They don't do the same things that that was happening when you were at home, And sometimes coaches tell their fighters, you know, when they do go on them teams and stuff, look, don't listen to nothing they saying. You know, with all the stuff that you learn from me. You know, don't listen to them. They're gonna mess you up.
That ain't a coach that you need then. That's not.
Yeah, but then you get out there, man, and be lost because they don't have the original coach there.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now you said he went to the Olympics and all that, but I mean, you know, who did he beat to become the headliner of that show last night? Because really, I've never really heard his name ring out like that. So who did he actually beat to put himself in that position to be the headliner?
I don't remember the last two guys he beat their name, but he beat two quality. I think he beats Zepeda, didn't he?
Zepeda, yeah, he beat Zepeda.
But I think when you look at that, I look at it like this: Richardson, good kid. I think he's a good fighter. But if you watch these dog shows and they always tell you how to deal with a dog when he's attacking you, they teach their skill with a golden retriever. He was getting attacked by a pit bull last night. So they ain't teach you how to deal with that one. So you know, Zepeda, the guy who fought last night could have, for a boxer, maybe a tougher out because the dude wasn't giving you skill per se. He was, I'm a tough my way and I'm gonna throw these shots. Whereas Zepeda wanted to give you a more skillful style with a little bit of that. If you take a lot of guys that are very skillful boxers who've been in a ring with other skillful boxers, they can deal with skillful boxers pretty good. But when you give them a guy that is unpredictable, that's the dude that usually
out there to assault you.
Yeah, he didn't come to win a fight. He came out that joint just to be rough.
Yeah, your head off.
Marcus Maidana against Floyd Mayweather, first fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Lemos was relentless. He just, I mean, he might got knocked off balance, and he still keep coming. You know, he just head down, coming straight forward.
And I think he was out there to assault him. You know?
I think one thing he should take away from this, if he is gonna get a title shot next, which you know I hope he do, make sure you put a lot of emphasis on conditioning.
Yeah,
because I see. Well, I'm not gonna say he wasn't in condition because Hitchens is always in good shape, but when you get to that level, it's a different level of condition. In the amateurs, that dude he fought last night might get beat 10 out of 12 times. But when you get to the pros and the top of the pro game, that's a style. All them is styles. That ain't that's a style.
That's a style of the mindset. It's also a mindset that you stick to that.
Yeah. And if you look at some of these guys who are great adapters, they gonna look at that fighting him in the future and they gonna add some of that to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, well, speaking of that, they're talking about he gets the winner of Subriel Matias and Paros. They're fighting in Puerto Rico, if I'm not mistaken. And for all intents and purposes, I'm pretty much sure Subriel is going to win that fight. Now, I know when they asked him last night about it, he mentioned he want to fight the winner of Haney versus Garcia. But I don't know how they're going to do that. But either way, what do y'all think about that? Get from George. George's been pretty quiet. George, what do you think about Subriel Matias or Devin Haney against Richardson Hitchens?
Number two, nobody's going to beat Devin Haney. So let me get on the record and say that. Nobody's going to beat Haney at junior welterweight. So let's get that off the. But I feel if Hitchens fights Subriel, I don't want to see that fight because I don't want to see Subriel go to jail for murder.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just being. I like Richard Hitchens, but there were just so many flaws that I don't think he's ready for a title fight. And I don't know if he is ever going to be ready because at that level, knowing this is the guy that fought Duran Anderson amateurs, and you could see they were very competitive. And you look at his development, he still fights like an amateur. He doesn't bend his legs with punches. He's not jabbing. He has a guy that was tailor-made for him to beat to death. And he struggles. You get my point?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He struggles with that fighter. I mean, Stevie Wonder could have closed his eyes and landed a 10-punch combination in that guy. but it was like he was in desperation mode. And he's a big, strong guy. He wasn't throwing effective jab. He didn't bend his legs with uppercuts. So I don't know what his trainers are teaching him, and I don't mean to be critical, but I do mean to be critical. He's not ready for a title fight. If he goes in there, Devin Haney's gonna box his ears off. With Matisse, that's like a Volkswagen running into a Mack truck. So I don't know what he does from here. Maybe he should go fight Teofimo Lopez. That's his best bet. Go fight Lopez.
Manny Revere.
What do you think?
How you doing, my brother?
All right, you're a promoter. Who would you put him in with next?
I mean, I think George is on point. You know, Devin Haney is on another level. I've been seeing Devin Haney for years. He's fought, you know, thank God, under our banner a few times. First time on network television was with Hard Hitting Promotions. I believe that's the time you met him, right, George?
Yes.
When he fought on the Showtime day. Me and his father are real close. We still talk. We were talking the other day. Yeah, Devin Haney's on a different level. There's a few fighters in the game right now that are on a different level. It's unfortunate he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. You know,
well, maybe we knock somebody out, or maybe you can punch a little harder.
Oh,
you know.
Well, we said that
might get
about
the
Floyd.
recognition.
We said that about Floyd Mayweather when he was at that
No,
stage.
no, not that stage. Floyd was a dog when he was Pretty Boy Floyd. When he became Money Mayweather and hand problem, that's when he became a defensive fighter.
It was the same. To me, I remember everybody, and I said Floyd's going to be one of the best. Devin Haney, the same. I've been saying Devin Haney. The other one is Boots. You know, I've been telling people for years, Boots Ennis is going to be, if not the best, one of the best fighters in the world. And now people are seeing it and still not getting the credibility that he truly deserves.
But them fights, yeah.
Going back to, you know, the question, can he fight for a title nowadays? You know, I don't even know the credibility of a title. It all depends on who has it. To me, is more on who did you beat for the title more than did you fight for a title. So with that being said, yeah, you know, who knows who else is going to come up with a 140-pound title and he might have a shot. But Sabria Matias, like George said, you know, that is his kryptonite. Obviously, like I said, I didn't watch the fight. I think Bernard, I mean, made me see the fight without seeing it. His description of the event and how it happened, it was exactly why you wouldn't fight a Matias. You know, he has trouble with a pressure fighter, and a pressure fighter that can crack. It's going to be his kryptonite. So obviously, you know, that there goes your answer for that. And when it comes to Devin Haney, I mean, he's just on a different level. But I get why he's saying Devin Haney. I get why he's saying that, because that's the money. So, you know, he's saying that because that's the money. And the fight might go the distance with Devin Haney. So you got the more money, and you know the fight might go the distance. You live to fight another day. Why not? So business wise, makes sense with Devin Haney, but I don't see that fight happening. I don't see the money being, you know, as in the promotional side and the business side. I don't see the fight bringing, you know, generating the type of financial resources to be able to make sense for Devin Haney, you know. So I don't see that fight happening either.
You know what? And what you call him said the exact same thing. His promoter said he think Devin would drop the belt. You know what I mean? Because there ain't no money in it. You know what I'm saying? So for that particular fight, you know what I'm saying? We just seen Regis on with who was the media guy? With I can't think of his name. It'll come to me though. When he asked Regis about the fight that he just had with Devin, and asked did he get any back end money, and he said no, I didn't get any back end money because the fight didn't do that well. You know what I mean? And that was against Regis, man, a person that is known and everything. You know, but it still didn't make the money to reach to the back end of the pay-per-view. You know, so it seemed like that Sabrina Matias would be the fight, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, you're right.
I just last night Hitchins, I just couldn't understand why he has the talent, he has the footwork, why he just couldn't step to the side. Kind of, guys, fighters like that you can't time to. No, this kind of hard to time. But like he was saying, your man Hanson there, that the uppercut was there all night. The way he was coming in. The uppercut was there all night. The 1-2 was there. And he was going right, getting driven back, like Will said, getting driven back, and he should have went side to side or step aside. And that just basic fundamentals. And he couldn't do that. And I know it's a difference in amateur and pro, right? You got to make that adjustment from both amateur, you throwing a lot of punches for points, basically. But a pro, you're gonna have to think it out and prepare. And I don't think he prepared to face the fighter he was facing last night. I don't think he prepared correctly. Put it that way.
Well, that didn't make sense that he didn't prepare because I looked at the man's box rec. His last 10 fights were KO. I mean,
you got to check the competition too.
Thanks to the matchmaker.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But that helps in the confidence a lot, Jack. When I'm used to knocking out cats, I believe it.
Yeah, but if you can have the confidence, right, and then you getting somebody ain't gonna go down like that.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference, man. You gotta be ready to adjust to whatever's in front of you.
Well, I just didn't think the guy was going to be easy, man. I did catch some of his stuff, and he just didn't look easy to me whatsoever. And he wasn't easy. He didn't fight him the correct way at all, But there's been rumors that he was sick, so let's just look. Maybe that's.
Yeah, he was sick from getting punched.
All right, Marvin.
Yeah, I was sick too, man.
Yeah. Let's move to the next question.
He was punch drunk.
That 140 division, okay, which I feel is a good division right now. Got a lot of talent in it, man. When the dust settles, who do you all have as the king of the hill? Starting with Mark.
It's kind of open right now. It's open for grabs right now. I don't really see anybody really taking charge and mastering that division right now. It's just kind of open, And I just hope it stay open so I can slide my 140 in.
I know that's right.
Hey.
Let's go with Troy Graham experience.
Well, I'm going to say Haney, and this is the reason why it is based on his fundamentals and just his overall experience. He's been in there with people that he should have learned from, like Lomachenko, the other brother who actually tagged him and hurt him. What's his name?
Linares.
Yeah. So to me, just based on his fundamentals, he's kind of, in a sense, he's kind of like Bernard. He don't have to knock you out. He has those fundamentals where he can outbox you and knows how to maneuver in there. Where if you take like a Teofimo, he's flashy, he's good to look at. But if you look at his last fight, you realize he doesn't really have all the fundamentals. Couldn't even cut off the ring or do anything. And I don't see too many people at 140 that could match his fundamentals. You got the big punchers, you have the exciting guys, you have the pressure guys, but you don't see his fundamentals and his overall ring knowledge. So I'm going with Haney.
Okay. Mr. Will, you there? No?
No,
I think he made a wrong turn and went to Deontay Wilder's house.
Hope he had an accident, man.
Hope not. George.
Oh, there you go. He must be on mute.
Let me see. Let me
he went out.
Let me see if he's on mute. Let me check. Where is he? I don't even see him on the screen right now. Yeah, he's not. He's not in here right now.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
George Hanson. I know your answer, but I want to know why.
That's like asking me who'd have won in their prime between Usain Bolt and Tyreek Hill. Usain Bolt. So my answer is Devin Haney, and for some of the same reason. He has the really good fundamentals, a good jab. He's still, you can see where he's still learning and still getting better. But even at where he's at now, he's good enough to beat everybody in the division. And the way he's solidified that is by fighting Subriel, who's a puncher. So I want to see that fight. But I'm going to pick Devin Haney because of his impeccable boxing skills. And he always finds a way to win. So I think when it's all said and done, it will be Haney at 140. I don't see anybody beating Haney, really. I just don't.
Bernard.
If you're just talking about people who are currently 140 and not anybody coming up or going down, any of that.
No, I mean,
here we go.
I mean, everybody on this planet coming, going from Mars, period.
Yeah, okay. More. I can only give my answer based on who's there now. You know, I won't base my answer on somebody coming up or coming down because we don't know who they'll be at 140. But guys who are at 140 right now, I go outside. I go outside of all the guys who got belts and said if given the opportunity, could beat everybody at 140. That's Gary Antoine Russell. I don't think it's a single 140 who could beat him. If you looked at the fight last night and you saw Hitchins versus Lemos, a better skilled, bigger, stronger, faster, more aggressive puncher, Antoine will knock Devin out. He'll knock him out in 6 rounds. Sabril Matisse, he gonna stand there and try and trade with Antoine. He knocks him out. And right now, I think they're the best 2 at the division. So if they're the best 2, and you can have a viable argument that the guy who just has me giving his chance, stylistically would knock them both out. I say if given the opportunity, Gary Antoine Russell's the best 140.
Honestly,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying because I was about to say that too. Matter of fact, I was talking about that with Knockout Box on the morning show today. Hey, Gary Antoine Russell, he haven't fought in a while. He need to stay busy because he's the man right now. I think at 140, he's faster, southpaw. He's a right-hander, but he fights southpaw, and he's fast. He uses angles. I mean, he just that killer. The whole family can fight, you know. But then I also look at Matias. You know, he might be slow on his feet, but he still keep coming. You got to hit him with something to slow him down, and he gonna make you fight. Now, it's good to have boxing skills, like I say. It's good to get in and get out. But sooner or later, you're gonna have to fight that fighter. Or sooner or later, that's what we saw last night. Because you can only clinch so much. You only can bag up so much. And when he cut off that ring, you're gonna have to hit him with something to deter him from coming in there and work it out on you. And he's a big puncher. He already took a body overseas over there in Puerto Rico. So he's dangerous. He's very dangerous. And I don't see no one really got anything at 140 to stop him. You know, you can outbox a power hitter. Yes, you can, but you're still gonna have to fight him sooner or later. But I always say, a power hitter cannot never a boxer can outbox a power hitter. I still say that though. You know, so that's what I see. I see Matias right now at 140.
Manny Rivera.
Well, I mean, look, we can presume all these things, right?
It's all presumption.
Because that's all assumption. But there's no question that the one has fought resume-wise, right? We deem fighters that are at the top depending on who they fought. And the one that has the best resume by far, without even arguing, I don't think we can argue this, is Devin Haney. Right? You know, not only is he the undisputed, you know, world champion, but he's fought the ones that were presumed to be the best, or ones that beat others that were the best, right? And he has beat them all, right? So with that, you know, unfortunately or fortunate, however you want to look at it, you have to give it to Devin Haney right now. Is Matias, I mean, I'm Puerto Rican. Listen, I love Matias. Don't get me wrong. Let me be honest. I love Matias. You know, I think, does he have a shot to beat Devin Haney? Absolutely. Does he have a shot to beat Antoine Russell? Absolutely. Does Antoine Russell can go into that picture? Absolutely. One thing this sport, or any sport, but one thing this sport in particular would show you is that you're only as good as your last fight. I say that to everybody. I say that to fighters. This is why you have to prepare. I don't care if you're fighting the cab driver around the corner. Prepare like it's your championship fight, because you're only as good as your last fight. You can be 30-0 with 30 knockouts. As soon as you even have an ink of problems with a fighter, your stock market goes like, oh, you see, I told you this, that, and the third. So with that being said, to me, right now, if I had to make a poll, it would be Devin Haney. It would be Matias. You have to put Pitbull somewhere in there, in that top 5 level. I would love to see a fight with Pitbull and the gentleman you guys just mentioned that nobody was talking about. Just forgot his name.
Lemos.
Antoine Russell. I would love to see that fight. I think boxing wise and that Antoine Russell would beat him, but you have to see it. That guy is a pit bull, you know. So we have so much, and to Hansen, I think was the one who mentioned it, that, you know, there are guys coming up, and tomorrow's another chain. And this sport, this is the love of this sport. It's that today you're at top, and tomorrow you could be at the bottom. You have to perform every single day. If this fight that happened last Saturday, if he would have went there and knocked this guy out, we would have been praising him like he's the next, you know, 140. So, you know, and we're talking about the same person, right? This is the way this sport is. So you have to give kudos to he that has the best resume, he that's doing it, and obviously he's going into another fight, which, you know, listen, once again, boxing is boxing, anything can happen. But I think Devin Haney's gonna come out victorious here. I don't think it's gonna be as difficult as a fight as people are perceiving to be. And I wouldn't even want to see the Matias Devin Haney fight next. I wouldn't even want to see that.
I don't think that's going to happen, because it's going to be hard for Devin Haney to keep that weight. He's going to move up 47. I think he's going to have one more fight at 140 and then move up to 47.
Why is he blowing up so fast like that?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I don't know about that. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I haven't even talked to Bill about that. But I mean, remember, it was only 3 fights ago that he was fighting at 135. So
he was killing himself.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's why he went up to 140. But to go up to 147,
hey, look, if he's at 140, right? He's coming down from 55.
He's coming down from 165.
Yeah, well, whatever. There's a lot of weight that he's taking off, you know.
No, I agree.
So
I hope Marvin right. I hope Marvin right. I hope Marvin right. I hope you are 100% right.
Yeah.
For selfish reasons.
I'm serious.
For selfish reasons. For completely selfish reasons, I hope you're 100% right.
Yeah. He gonna come down for your boy, man.
That's the one where I will argue just as a dad. Jalil will stop Devin in 5.
Yeah.
Right now, he'll stop Devin Haney in 5.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. But I'm telling you, he's not going to be at 140 long. He's going to give that up. He might have 1 or 2 fights at 40, and he's going to have to move up 47. I'm telling you right now.
I can see that after 2 fights. I can see that after 2 fights. But the way boxing is, 2 fights now, it's a year and a half. From now.
He's more active than that.
Yeah.
He's an active kid.
Yeah.
He's active. So.
Yeah, he is, but he's getting to that level where that money, you know, 2 years ago, yes, he'll fight 3-4 times, but he's getting to that level now where the business side of it prevents a lot of things, and that's what people don't understand, that this is as much as a sport as it is a business, and it's like on any other sport, baseball, football, basketball, such and such. Really the deal, the business size, it's what dictates everything in this sport.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, sir. You as a promoter, let me ask you this question. Would it make sense for Devin to come up a year from now or a year and a half from now, seeing as how all the big name money fights will be gone at 47? And if it is just about the big names or the big money, would that make sense to even come up if you can kill yourself and stay at 40 where the bigger money is?
I'm gonna give you 2 answers. I'm gonna give you a selfish answer, as you stated earlier. I'm gonna give you a selfish answer with 2 guys that I really like. One I'm so close to. I've been seeing him since a baby growing up, and like I said, it's fought on our card so many times, and he's the hometown guy. I would love for Devin to go up to 147 and fight a Boots on it. Is that going to happen?
Never.
No. Exactly. And so yeah, I would love that. I don't see Devin moving up in at least a year, at least minimum 2-3 fights from now. And in this sport, Tom would tell you there's only been a few Floyd Mayweathers, a few, even Manny Pacquiao, if you want to throw him in there, Manny Pacquiao was dominant for a lot of years, but it was in all different weight classes. It was never in one particular weight class. So with that being said, if he does go up, he's going to go up for the money. That's what I could tell you. He's going to go up because there's a mega fight at 147 for him, and that's why he's going up. I just don't see him going up right now because there are so many. I think his next fight after this will probably be with Pitbull for big dollars.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
And to me, it's a pick. It's him hitting a heavy bag. I mean, I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's how it's gonna be. So it makes all the sense in the world. So I look at this sport, as a fan, I love it, but I understand that it's business. So if you look at it through them eyes, then a lot of things you can probably see coming.
So a year and a half from now, I even right now, I don't see it happening because, like you said, the two big possible checks for him is if a Bud Crawford stayed or Jerron in the state. I think he would try his hand with Bud Crawford, but I know he would not try his hand with Boots. Now, if both of them move up within the next year to 54, then when you think about it, at the landscape now, there is no super mega fight money-wise for him. Is it guys there at 47 who I think can beat him? Yes. But are they the money that he's looking for? No. So if that's
at
the
47?
case, yeah, at 47.
Yeah, unless Crawford. That would be the big money fight. Would be Crawford.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said,
he'd be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think him and Boots will be gone. Him and Boots will be gone in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're gone, and I'm thinking like Devin, why am I coming up there for a fight that might get me a couple of 100,000, maybe 2 million, when I can stay down here and I got some feasts down here that I could possibly, I got to kill myself to make it. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying.
I think that's the more business. And I just watching how Bill does. Just watching how Bill and his son do things. Trust me, I don't hate on how they move because they moving great. He's for the stable of 30 pluses. If you look at his last 6 fights, they're good fights, but a lot of them 30 pluses. He beating them, and he getting a win. And if you could still feast on those guys, I'm gonna feast until I humanly can't feast no more from Devin Haney. I'm gonna eat off that till I can't eat no more.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere. That's what I said from the beginning.
Yeah, I think he said if I stay here, at least I make one of those guys have to come down to me before I go up there to their natural size. When you're looking at them, if he move up, yeah, he's getting bigger, but that's still not as natural as a guy who's already there. And then when you start looking at some of these guys, genetically, a lot of these guys are starting to get genetically bigger. They're taller, they're stronger, they're becoming faster. And like I said, 47 is the last frontier before the gloves changes. They change for a reason because the power starts to change. Right. So when you get them 47s who coming down from middleweight, some bigger than middleweight, them dudes bringing a different level of power as opposed to a guy who's a natural 160, and then he cuts down to 35, 40. Devin said he rehydrated to 65. That might be big for 140.
I heard it was 75.
Well, I heard he was 65. I think he said 65. So I'm gonna take what he said. And if he's saying I rehydrated to 65, you got some welterweights that'll be like, congratulations, woohoo! I get bigger than that. So it's I think for him and the way they move, I think they smart. They're gonna lock down that 40, but 47, I don't see him jumping out there.
No, like I said, I don't see that either unless there's a huge money fight and there's only one or two. And
butter boots.
And butter boots for the fan. I mean, boots for the fans. I'm gonna be honest. I would love to see that. It would be the fight. Boots for the fans, but not for the money.
That'd be an exciting. That'd be an exciting 120 seconds against Boots. That'd be an exciting 120 seconds.
Yeah, I know. I've done a few of those.
Yeah, that would be the most exciting 120 seconds you've ever seen.
I think the most exciting 120 seconds was when he fought Ray Serrano. Shout out to my guy Ray Serrano, but that was an exciting 120 seconds.
Yeah, he different. Slim different. I don't have no problem, taking my hats off when it comes to boxing. At that 47, I fight anybody, but I wouldn't fuck with Bud or Boots. Them the only two dudes you hear me say no to. Them the only two dudes that you'll hear me say no to. Them dudes different. They different.
Oh yeah.
Nah. Boots has an Achilles heel.
He does?
Yeah, nobody wants to fight him.
No. He gets hit with right hand. Right hands, numerous right hands in every fight, every single fight. Same right hand.
And you're right about that. No one wants to fight him, and that's the problem that he's having. Would he be just like Gary Russell, fight once every so often?
I don't understand. How can you be that? Anybody know why that the Russells only fight like that?
Well, I thought when his brother was alive, I thought it was because he wanted to, he didn't want to, what do you call it? Keep his stamina going. He didn't want to take too many fights right away, but it wasn't. I mean, they was like a year apart, so he wasn't very busy. I don't know. They had him, blackballed or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I never did find out what it was. I just thought.
Do you know why they only fight? They fight.
I'd say this: anybody can speculate, but the only people who know it is the fighter. I've known them. I've known them forever.
Yeah, one thing I asked you.
Yeah. Gary would regardless of what, Gary ain't never been a dude to shy away from fighting nobody.
Exactly. I don't think nobody wanted to fight. That's why he wasn't fighting. Ain't nobody never called him out. Whoever called him out?
Well, Devin and Bill were trying to do something. This was a couple years ago, about 3 years ago.
Yeah, but was that real?
3 years
was
ago.
That clout chasing though?
But I'm saying, I have never heard anybody call Gary Russell out when he was active.
Yeah, I think the issue with Gary Russell, right? I mean, can he fight? He can fight. Obviously, he got a good promotion behind him, right?
Right.
You know, tell me a big name he has fought. Right? Yeah. So,
You're right.
I mean, he
Well,
can stay
Lomachenko, he
busy.
fought him. You know. Yeah.
You know, he can stay busy with guys at that, you know, frontier of level, which I think he needs. Obviously, you know, I think that's the main thing in this sport. You could be the greatest fighter, but you have to be busy for you to be in the game, right? It's like a chess match. If you don't have no pieces on the board,
Right.
you can't play. You know, so being busy to me, for a guy like him that is not in that upper echelon of the top 4 or 5, I would say, not skill wise, but you know, business wise, financial wise, then he has to stay busy to make noise. You know, I think that's for instance, that's Pitbull's um benefit. That's why he's in conversations. It's because he stays busy.
Right.
Out of all the names that we talked about, he has the less skills by far. But he stays in the limelight. He stays busy.
And he's Latino.
They picked the right fight for him, and he has a strong fan base. So with all that being said, you know, his name is always in the mix. And I think that's the thing with Antoine. Boots is a whole different problem, you know. You know, but
man, we've been in the ring with that dude several camps. They called us in for sparring. I don't think the boy got a deficiency. He's in great shape. He got great size. It's very unoften that my son is in a ring with somebody who can match size and power with him. Boots got. I don't see where he got nothing missing. I don't see where he has a hole in his armor at all.
Yeah.
No, I heard people say he you know, he's gotten hit. Well, I mean, you could say that all you want. You know, especially in his last fight. You know, Boots had one mission in that fight, and I was right. I mean, I was literally right on the first row there when he fought. And understanding what he had in stakes is that he had to impress.
Right.
So when you have that in front of you and you want to knock somebody out, the one thing that you're going to have to do is put yourself in risk of getting hit. That's just that you know, you're not going to be knocking people out if you're not putting yourself in that range of getting hit as well. But he knew, the guy hit him with some shots, but he knew that if you notice in the first round, second round, he was feeling them out. Once he felt that, I can get hit by this guy and I'm going to eat him, then that's when the problem started for him. Because that's when Boots just went off and he would stay right in front of him, because his chance to knock him out was to have him open, have him confident enough to let his hands go, try to hit me so I can then counter you and hit you flush.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll take that one hit so I can hit you with 3 of mine. And that's what happened. If it wasn't for that guy would have went the distance. You know, Boots could have picked him apart all day and just stood on the outside, and the guy would have never even touched him. He wouldn't even touch his shadow. But because he wanted to knock him out, because he wanted to make a statement, he had to do what he had to do. But I think if Boots fights a Crawford, you know, somebody along those lines, he knows he can't fight that way, you know.
Right. Exactly. You know, and see, that's the problem. Is he trying to impress the crowd, trying to get that fan base up by being a more exciting fighter, or he's just fighting that way because he's trying to change the style up? I don't know, but you know, high risk, low reward. That's what most fighters look at him as. You know, Crawford look at him as a high risk with no reward at all. You know, so what should he do?
He has to build his resume up. He just has to call out people who actually let's say, it's somebody out there, some bodies plural, that people are trying to avoid. Fight those fighters. If you get Thurman out of retirement, if you could go up to 154 and maybe fight Danny Garcia or whatever have you, just fight the people that
That ain't happening.
just fight somebody that that's actually being avoided. This is
Then they're gonna say
nothing
he's
new.
beating up on a bunch of old men. That's
No.
But
what I'm saying, this is nothing. Yeah, right. But this is nothing new to boxing, right? There's nothing new to boxing. There've been fighters all out through boxing that the top guys have avoided, but they've always made a way. You take Mike McCollum, Sugar Ray Hearns, Duran, all of them stayed away from Hagler because they said high risk and low reward. But he fought the James Tonys of the world. He fought the Julian Jacksons of the world. He cleaned out the Kronks, right? He fought the Donald Currys and all that. So find those fighters, fight them.
It's a different sport, and I try to tell this to everyone, whoever listens to me, right? Who am I, anyways? But it's a different sport. It's a different sport than 10 years ago. Boxing is a different sport, meaning
because everybody hustling now. Everybody trying to get paid.
Everything is about the money. It's not about who's the best. It's not about who has the belts. Jake Paul got a belt. Who cares about a belt?
Everybody hustling.
It's about the money, and I don't want to go into it too much. Boots is the reason why Boots is not where he is business. It's strictly business.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta find somebody to fight then. You gotta find somebody to fight.
They gotta let him in the door first. They gotta let him in the door.
But no, do you and your son? Do your son have problems getting fights? Or
money lets you in the door? That's what lets you in the door is money.
Okay.
I can't really say problems having fights. I say, like he just said about Boots, when people look at you and then they see you and then they see what your body of work consists of, it's the different stages. If you got, let's look at Boots' career. First 10 fights, Boots smashed everybody. So if a guy was at a certain level, he'll say, this kid too young, I'm not ready for that fight. Okay, you smash the next 7 guys the same way. Well, now he got a record that's good enough. If he beats somebody else, I'll consider fighting him. It's like they have a built-in release button based on 2 things, in my opinion. If you are a physical specimen, they ain't trying to fool with you. And the second thing, you ought to tell fighters now, train once a day and do social media once a day. Because if you ain't got the numbers that let these people think they can sell a bunch of tickets, then you short. When you look at it, you got to think realistically. Every promoter, every whatever you want to call it in the business of boxing, they smart. If a fighter come and ask for $3-4 million, he want to go do his research on why I should give you $3-4 million. And if you put a post up and your post, you say whatever you say, or you put a picture up and you can only get 50 likes and 20 comments, they saying, Slim, we ain't fooling with you. When they got a guy who might be some cold trash, but he get 10,000 likes and he get 2,000 comments, that at least tells them if you cut it into thirds, we can guarantee you're going to get 1,500 people to come sit in the seat or watch them on TV. You got it. The business of boxing is always been the business, but it's changed because of the nature of the game. You got, when you used to have TV stations fighting, they fought on a level playing field. They all got the same sponsors to get commercials. They all got the same shows, 30-minute shows, 1-hour shows. They all got a sport. But now that you got these apps, you got certain apps that just locking shit down. If they got 20 million subscribers and you gonna fight on their app, they gonna ask you to have so much if they gonna put some money out there. The promoters, they smart. They ain't in the business to break even. So you want 5 million. The other fighter want 5 million. The promoter saying I gotta make 20 million to make it make sense. What, I'm gonna just make 11 million? That don't make sense.
Well, it depends on the level. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I would say this. I would say boxing years ago for a promoter, even before my time, wasn't on the shoulders of the fighter, meaning the selling of the show wasn't on the shoulders of the fighter. Today is on the shoulders of the fighter, right? At a certain level, when you talk about where I'm at, or the local type scene, right? But when you're talking about the match rooms, when you're talking about the PVCs, when you're talking about the top ranks, etc., that's it. The money doesn't come from the promoter. The money comes from the network. The network is actually
sponsors.
The true promoter. The true promoters are the other. I'll give you a quick story, and it's funny, and I'll share this. I thought I was a promoter, or I thought I was a big shot promoter when I first got my first network show, until I found out at once everything was signed, they became the promoter. Meaning, I had all these ideas of, I'm gonna put this one with that one and this one with that one, and they're like, get me somebody else. Nah, you get me somebody else. No, we don't like that one. Get me somebody else. So in other words, there's an old saying, and it's so true. He that pays controls you. The networks is the ones that are paying. So a lot of times these fights are not happening. Is because the networks, for whatever reason or not reason, they don't like it, right? They don't like this. And then on the flip side of that is sometimes you got an exec that don't know nothing about boxing. You know what I mean? And I'll give you a perfect example. It's not just skills alone. It's what brings in the understanding. You just said it. The numbers on social media, this, that. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson is the biggest fight coming. It ain't even a fight. It's not a fight.
It's a sideshow.
Exhibition.
It's an exhibition, but ain't nobody promoting it as an exhibition. Listen, in today's boxing, if 10% of the people that really support the sport are people like us, is a lot. That's a big percentage, 10%.
Wow.
The biggest percentage of people that are actually buying pay-per-views, that are actually going to these fights, are what I call, names. You say Bernard Hopkins and Trinidad is fighting again. It would pack a house. Why? Because people remember those names. They don't really know what's going on. That's the sport that we live in today. It's the hardcore, people that really know the sport is little to none, man. It's a small percentage of us that are really, really around. Boxing is trying to turn itself into wrestling. Right now, we got 72,000 people in Philly to watch wrestling.
Wow. So
everybody knows it's fake, but they still come in and watch it.
So it's not like it used to be now. You got the power now getting taken out of the fighter's hand. Now it's getting taken out of the promoter's hand. Now it's in the network hands. Basically, you saying that?
That's always that. But that's always been the case, right? So that's always been the case with that. But in the network, you have people, back in the days that knew and loved the sport. For instance, you want to talk about Top Rank, right? You want to talk about the old man. He was a lawyer for MSG. That's where he came from. People that
Muhammad Ali
really
lawyer.
Right. When people, that's where Lou DiBella, he was part of all that. You had real people that really knew the sport. So yes, the fights were made. The fights were great. Everything we talk about, we talk about Hall of Fame fights, and we really had people back then that understand the sport, that knew the sport, that were students of the sport, making the decisions. That's not the case no more. You got some Harvard grad, son of whoever, that's making the calls.
Right.
And you know, if he's not a fan of that guy, you know, and that's just in certain cases, you know. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening in the sport of boxing. It's a different sport, man. It's
just like I say, everybody hustling, man.
Yeah,
everybody
it's a
hustling.
different sport, and you got to know the lay of the land with the sport.
And you know, and when it comes to fighters nowadays, they're not being groomed to last. Nobody's really grooming fighters. Like Mike Tyson was groomed to last as long as he did. Yeah, he had the fights, he had the flashy knockouts, but he was groomed to last. The same thing would say, you know, you have to groom your fighter, and a lot of these cats are not being groomed for that. They just there's a whole lot
there are
of
a lot of people out here that are not true boxing people.
Right. You take like a Spence. Everybody, like at one point, you know, a lot of his fans were saying that he's this and he's that. He loses a fight, and what now? What now? Right.
Well, let's go back to what we were talking about, right? Find me a guy in the 80s that fought for a world title or even more undisputed with 14, 15 fights.
Wasn't none.
I mean, you had the guy that fought Muhammad Ali, one of the Spinks brothers. That happened.
Yeah, 8 fights.
Yeah, but it's an anomaly. It doesn't happen.
That was Leon Spinks.
Yeah,
but he was a gold medalist.
Medalist and all. But it doesn't it didn't happen, and it was like you said, one, right? It did today. That's it. Today, that's what you're seeing. That you know, after you get double digits, you're like you said. There's no grooming. Once you get double digits, that's it. It's the big fights. It's the big money fight. That's the whole goal. Get into double digits, and then we're gonna go.
Perfect example of that.
That's why Boots is a tragedy. I'm getting upset, but that's why Boots is a tragedy. That's a tragedy. What's happening with that kid?
Yeah.
What is he? 30-something fights now.
31-0.
And the way he got a title, which I don't care what people say, that man deserved that in every other title. If you give him the opportunity. But the way he got a title is the way he got it.
They gave it to him.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. I mean, at least one sanctioning body said, I'm going to try to force the hand for somebody to fight this kid. Here's a title. Now fight him. And they still don't want to fight.
But then ain't nobody at 47 no more.
Okay, fine. Now, why doesn't he do what Hopkins did? When, you know, Hopkins was at 160. He was no one at 160. He called out Trinidad. He called out Oscar, and he got both them fights. So
that wasn't Hopkins. That was a tournament that was done by Don King, which in reality
Oscar wasn't in that tournament.
What tournament? The tournament where he beat Trinidad. I'm talking about.
No.
That wasn't the tournament.
Oscar wasn't in that tournament. I understand what you're talking about with the tournament with Trinidad and all that, but Oscar wasn't in that tournament.
No, not Oscar. Bernard, you said, right?
It was William Johnson. It was William Johnson, Keith Holmes, Bernard Hopkins, Felix Trinidad.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And that only happened because Trinidad came up to that division. If Trinidad wouldn't have came up to that division,
there wouldn't be no tournament. They weren't going to be.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but that's why you got it. Like I said, it all boils down to money. I mean, because Boots has the 30-0 whatever. He got the flashy style. So now you get some money behind you, and you get some other. Then you put together a tournament. You call out Haney because he's at 140. And all that, and you just start building. You call out.
Do a tournament no more. There ain't no money for no tournaments no more. People are not going to fight tournaments anymore.
Nope.
For the simple fact, people want that money now. They're not fighting for that.
How did you get the big points then? Because
even Andre Ward said the Super 6 killed him on about $50 million.
Right. But but it made his name for him. So how do you get the big fights then? If you can't do this and you can't do that.
In the bank. Take that name and put it in the bank. You can't. Come on, man.
There's two ways to get the big fights now. There's guys that are fighting, right, and they're getting buku money. It's two ways to get. The way I see it, right, the way I understand it, there's two ways to get the money, and I don't want to go into what I believe Boots' situation is, but it's definitely business. I could tell you that. But there's two ways. Is being with the promotional company that has the means, and there's only 3 right now, that has the means to be able to put those fights together, right? So first and foremost, you have to be with them. And that's been happening from way back. You know, I think Don King was the king of doing that, right? And actually became a law behind that because of how dominant he was doing that, right? So and the way the business is, even if you're with those guys, you know, it depends on what side it is, and can they work together, and can it be beneficial enough for them, for both parties, to be able to then put their 2 top fighters to be able to do that. Once again, I believe Boots is now in that transition to be able to be in that pot, to be able to get those opportunities. And I think time is going to be what you know, what's going to be the you know, the truth of that. But like I said, I don't really want to get too much into that, but that's what it takes. It takes right now, because they're the ones who control the networks. Once again, the networks is the one that are paying. It's not the promoters, it's the networks. There's only 3 networks right now that you know, that are doing it. And obviously, you know, PVC doing streaming, you know, with Amazon. So let's see where that goes. But those are the ones that are doing it. This is why I tell people, fans, you know, you guys that are, you know, always in the line coaches, support the local shows, because to tell you the truth, the ones that have it the hardest is these local promoters. Let me say it this way. For me, yes, I would love to get there where I can get a network deal where I could do, you know, 20, 30 fights in a year. To me, does it take work? Absolutely, it takes work to be able to do that. I'm not taking away from that. But I'm gonna bet on me that it's a lot harder to do what I'm doing with no network behind it. I got to put my own money. I got to risk everything in the hopes that people come to support these shows, so then I can do the next one and the next one and the next one. The way these promoters are working at the top is they negotiate the deals according to the fights that they can produce to the network. The networks okay it. The budget is there. They get their money from that. Sponsorships, gate, that's all extra money. When I did showbox shows, they don't care about gate. That's yours. They don't care about sponsors. Those are yours. That's a gold mine, because they're giving you the money to put the show together. And if you do it right, you could even make some off that top.
Right.
You know, it's a different level of doing show. You know, kudos to the promoters that are grinding it out the old school way, which it's few and in between, the ones that are doing it. And they're the ones who are getting these fighters to that level. Devin Haney fought about three times with us coming up. If there wouldn't be no us, if there wouldn't be no local promoters, how would he get to that level where he got? You know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand that. Devin Haney fought at the Sugar House Casino. People don't remember that because he didn't have a name. You know, Boots the same. Boots fought at the Sheet Metal Workers Hall, a local union. People don't remember that. Those are the fights that get you where you're at, and those fights are done on that 10% of people that still love the sport. This is why Philadelphia is, to me, is a place that is an anomaly, and little by little it's falling off. I mean, but De La Hoya said something the other day, and I heard a lot of criticism about it. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't 100% agree with it, but I understood what he was trying to say. When he was talking about Rolly, he said, stop criticizing the promoters.
Right.
Focus on your fight. And there's only 3 of us in the world.
Right.
It tells you exactly what I was trying to say. Exactly what I just explained. They know that. So
that's heavy. That's heavy.
Yeah.
But that is so true. But you know what? It reminds when you said that about how the networks make the decision. I remember when Canelo was talking about fighting Macaboo, and everybody was like, "Man, Macaboo." And when they took that to DAZN, DAZN was like, "No, we're not paying for that. Find somebody else. We're not paying for Macaboo." You know what I mean? But Canelo, you know, when he was on that Dare to Be Great, keep going up different weight classes, he was grabbing a lot of low-hanging fruit. And he wanted to fight that guy, Macaboo, who Badu Jack just took the belt from, you know. But DAZN was like, "Nah, we're not paying for that." And they scrapped that fight, man. So, yeah, the networks, man, like you say, they control because that's their money spent. And they want to make sure that, you know, they make money in the deal, man. And you look at it, man, you see these networks that done went under. HBO done went under. Showtime done went under. We don't have that Spike. We used to get boxing on Spike TV. You know what I'm saying? This sport of boxing is brutal, man. You know what I'm saying? And it loves nobody. It don't love nobody at all.
Exactly.
But we love it. But boxing don't love us, man. It's a semi monster, man, and will eat you up if you don't know what you're doing, man.
Right. And that's some good information because Canelo tried to do the same thing again to DAZN. What he wanted Edgar Berlanga first, and DAZN said, "No, we want you to fight another guy first." I think it was somebody else, but I think he wanted Edgar first or McGill first, something like that, and DAZN didn't want to pay for it. And so
he didn't want Magia. He didn't want Magia, but he had to take Magia because he's not fighting David Benavidez.
Right.
So
he came
back.
Well,
it's not that the networks wouldn't allow him. It's a budget. Everything is a budget. Okay. So it's not that they wouldn't allow it. It's just we would do that fight, but this is the budget for that fight. You know what I'm saying? Where then it's like, I'll fight somebody. You know, it's all on. I mean, Canelo's at a level where, you know, where the numbers, the networks understands the numbers. You know what I mean? And there goes the negotiations according to that. So according to who he fights, then the budget goes up or it goes down. And either you accept or you don't accept, you know? So it's everything is a budget. I mean, even with us, right? That we're doing these shows, everything is a budget. I could tell you who I put in the main event and the place that I'm gonna go to. I know that I have to keep it within a certain budget because I understand the maximum numbers that can come in, and you don't do nothing on maximum numbers. If you do it on maximum numbers, then you know that's a recipe for failure. So you got to give yourself a cushion. So everything, and you know, I'm the, you know, the guy on the low pole when it comes to, you know, the promotional side.
But that's good information, man. That's good.
I do have one question, man. You know, when they're talking about that fight hasn't matured yet, right? What do you promoters look at to know what that fight can do right now? Okay, let's just say Tank and Devin right now. You know, I think that fight hasn't happened yet because that the money that they both going to command, I don't think that is there yet. But what do you all look at to be able to identify if that fight is ready or not, man?
Well, it's different angles, right? It's different situations. You know, George is on this panel, and George seen some of the blessings that we have been able to put together, right, for boxing, and that's been the key to I would say hard-hitting success in the division, right? Is that there's a dynamic with everything, right? So at the level of out of network is for instance Hank and Chop Corley. You know, that was a fight that people are still asking me, how did you make that happen? Because networks were trying to make that happen and it didn't happen. So first of all, like anything in life is relationships. relationships is the key to everything in life, right? You know, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the relationship, you don't have the word, the character. People say stick to money and go. You know what I mean? We don't want to deal with you. So it's not just money; it's relationship. That's been my key, is that I've always been upfront with people. I always told them, and I like to teach the fighters about the business so they could understand why things are done a certain way, right? So Chop Chop Corley, for instance, and Hank Lundy, we knew that was a fight. DC local, you know, Philly local, you know, at the time, you know, it was a fight, it was a rivalry for a while. They were trying to get this on network, but once again, the network didn't believe that because it's on network. I'll give you a perfect example. The money that those two guys were asking for network television was astronomically different than what they actually got when they fought on our card, right? Because they understood that it was network. So right away, it's network. I want this. The network didn't agree with that, so it didn't happen on network, right? But then they both understood this dynamic, that okay, we're gonna make less money here, we're gonna hustle, we're gonna make less money, but I believe I'm gonna win, and the other side believe they're gonna win, and that was each other's way of getting that bigger fight, right? And since they both believe they can win, that was that was the risk reward factor, that they both thought they were going to win, so it made a great fight. Now go to a network fight, right? Like Boots, right? We had a bunch of different opponents for Boots. Some just didn't go through, some didn't. I mean, literally, I think it was like 3 weeks before the fight, maybe even shorter. We were looking for an opponent, and like I said, opponents were being handed in to the network and they weren't approving. So then I came up with the idea, you know, our team came up with the idea of Raymond Serrano, right? How was I able to sell that to Gordon? Gordon, that is a fight that is going to be electric. Why? Because these two guys have tensions from the amateurs. Boots knocked out his little brother, blase, this, that, and the third. There was tension there forever. You know, he still has a good record. They're both from Philly. It's going to be right. And Gordon gave the okay for it. Yes, I like it. Let's do it. To the point that he even gave a higher budget than they was for the opponent, for Raymond, to take the fight. So you see how it you know, even the budgets can go up if they believe in the fight, and that's what happened. And yes, it was an electric night. I think I was talking to Roger over there at the 23. He said, according to what Roger told me, that was the highest attended show at the 2300. Literally, no one else. He stopped people from coming in at the 2300 because it was completely packed. But that's, you know, so it's so I tell you guys that have fighters, and I tell fighters this all the time: understand the business side, because that's how you can negotiate, and put yourself in a position where your kids can get the fights that you guys want. That's what Bill is a genius at. That's where Bill is a genius at. He understands the dynamic of the sport and understands how he can sell his son, not to the promoters, to the networks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a question for you. You being a promoter, right? Do they have a cutoff for you for how many rounds you can have that night?
No, I mean, obviously the commission too. You have the commission involved as well, but the network only cares about the fights that are going to be on TV, right? So they want, for instance, Showbox always wanted at first it was 4, and it got so bad that there was shows that they did that had 2 fights on TV, but towards the end. But typically, I don't care how many fights you have in the beginning, in the prelim, at a certain time they got to be cut off. And then if you want to put them after the TV, which you see that you've seen that before, once the TV main event fight ends, then you can put the rest of the fights that that you had after that. So all they care about is that time slot, is to fill the time slot for their program.
Yeah, I understand that. But what I'm saying, do the commission give you any problems as far as how many rounds you have that night?
Well, there's a minimum
on a regular fight.
Yeah, I never had a problem with maximum amount of rounds. I mean, if you want to put 12, 13, 14 fights, I've never had an issue with a commission saying, no, you can't put 14 fights. You see them on the big stage, like Top Rank, when they do stuff at Madison Square Garden. They do that. The first fight starts like around 4 o'clock. Right, because they're moving all their 1-0 guys, all debuts. They're throwing all those guys in there. They're throwing some local guys in there on paid bouts and blah blah blah. So they start them early, and the TV starts at 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? So there's a whole slew of fights. But there is such a rule. If we're going to talk about rules with commission, there is such a rule as you have to have a certain amount of rounds. Greg here in Pennsylvania was harsh on that. If you didn't have the certain, I've seen him do this before to a promoter. If you didn't have the certain amount of rounds that is required by the commission, he would tell the fans that they are allowed to get their money back.
Yeah.
Whether they were allowed, because they didn't have the required amount of rounds. So there's a requirement of how many rounds you have to put, but there's mandatory, but I've never heard of maximum.
The reason why I asked that is because it was put out here in Maryland, but it wasn't never enforced. But now they're enforcing it. So say my guy had a 6-rounder, they cut the rounds down, they made it a 4-rounder. So I think they only wanted like maybe 45 rounds or 50 rounds that night, and
I've never heard that from the promoter. I mean, from a commission, but every commission, that's another thing with the sport that I have a big problem with. And I have these conversations with some, let's just, for lack of understanding, powerful people in the sport. And they're like, it's odd that you as a promoter are stating this, but I think that's the biggest issue that we have in this sport too, is the regulation issue. Is that unlike every other major sport, there's a commission to oversee everything, right? Here, you go to Maryland, or you go to Georgia, or you go to New Jersey, or you go to New York. As a promoter, it's mind bending that everyone has. I mean, in a lot of cases, way different rules than what works in Pennsylvania does not work in Jersey. What works in Jersey does not work in Maryland. So you have to adapt to all these different, personalities and their own rules. There's carte blanche when it comes to regulations, and every state just governs the way that they see fit. And I really believe that there should be a unification of these are the standard way rules, not just for a promoter, but for fighters, for you coaches, for et cetera, to make that so much simpler. Because literally right now is, if the commission says is this way, that's the way it is.
Right.
But wait a minute. Last week it wasn't that. Well, this week it is.
I mean, we need a universal.
Yes,
we need. And that's going to be hard because because of the individuality of boxing and the boxers. You know,
Well,
that's why it's kind
it's
of hard to start a boxing union.
well,
You know, because of
I say it's hard because the people on the top. Let's be honest, the people on the
Right.
top does not want that.
They don't want that. Yeah.
It doesn't benefit them. You know, listen.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're a group of people here that you know, I'm the least one that likes or even use that as an excuse. But truth is truth. You know, the name of, you know, the purpose of the nature to succeed in some people's eyes is to keep the other ones dumb and blind. And we know we're in a sport where the ones on the top are who they are and the ones on the bottom are who they are. And, you know, and the only way you could get fooled is if you don't have knowledge. You have knowledge. If somebody tells you that 5 + 5 is 7, you're not going to fall for that because we all know it's 10. Mm-hmm. But if you don't understand, if you don't know, if you don't have knowledge of something, anybody could fool you. And chaos is the best recipe to take advantage of people. And that's, to me, is why it's going to be difficult because it doesn't benefit the ones on the top.
All righty. We're listening, fellas. It is 10:06. We've been rocking out for 2 hours. and definitely a beautiful, informative show.
Yes, sir, man. I like that, Manny. Good information, man. Good information.
Definitely, man. I mean, George knows. George has been, you know, in what I've been doing for years. I didn't want to be a promoter. This wasn't my goal, was to be a promoter. But I understood, you know, one of the things that I was taught as a kid is that if you want to change something, do it yourself. You know, you know, I love that song, but what Michael Jordan, look at the man in the mirror, right? If you want to make a change yourself.
Michael Jackson, not Michael Jordan.
Michael Jackson.
Well, you kept everything,
I was watching a series. And it jumped into my mind. But yeah, Michael Jackson. And I love that song is so powerful if you listen to it. But it's true. And in this sport, I learned very quickly in the business of it, managing fighters, which is what I was doing, that it didn't matter how good you were as a manager, because you was always in the hands of the promoter. If the promoter didn't want to put you on, he didn't have to put you on. I mean, I had fighters that was signed with a promoter, and they still implemented that he had to sell a certain number of tickets to be able to fight on the card. That's ridiculous. I mean, then why do you have exclusivity with the fighter? You know what I mean? If that's the case, I can do that on my own. So, you know, that's just one example, and there's so many examples that I can say. But at the end of the day, I said the only way I could do this is to be that light, be that person that could show that there is a right way to do it and still succeed and still stay relevant. And be honest with you, fellas, it was a pipe dream, man. It was a pipe dream. You know, I was a 9-to-5 worker. You know, how am I going to do this? But I tell you, and if there's any message to leave, is that fear is the thing that stops us all. Yeah. When the creator has a purpose in your life, fear is the one thing that tries to stop that what is already accomplished. And when I lost that fear in 2015, when I lost that fear from something that happened to me personally, and I lost that fear, I went and I did it. And since then, you know, I think I've done, you know, by the grace of God, I've done a great job, and my promotion has still stayed relevant, done some great things in the sport. And, you know, with God's grace, I'll continue to stay relevant. When I seen big times promotion like Rock Nation started at the same time, Tyson Promotion, Holyfield Promotions, et cetera, started at the same time, and they're no longer here.
Right.
So, if anybody leaves with something is man, don't worry about how you gonna get the money, how you gonna get this, how you gonna do this, how you gonna do that. Just step forward so God can have something to bless. If you don't step forward, he has nothing to bless. The goal is to step forward so he can bless it.
Be like
Jay, can
Nike
I add
and just
something
do it.
there? Jay, and
Yes,
I
sir.
gotta say this on Manny's behalf before I go. Despite all the years of boxing and Philly being the epicenter of boxing, Manny was the first promoter ever to bring Showtime to Philadelphia.
You mean Showtime what?
Showtime, first promoter ever to bring Showtime, the network, to
Oh,
Philadelphia.
okay. Wow. Okay. Cool.
That's history right there.
That's
Oh,
big.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
big,
yeah.
man.
Yes, sir.
That's big. Well, I salute you on that, man. And I
Grace of
appreciate
God, man.
I
God is good.
appreciate
I
you.
try to tell people.
I appreciate you coming in, Manny. It was at the spur of the moment when I hit you up, and I appreciate you coming through, my guy.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Definitely was
Thank you,
God's.
guys. And if anybody wants to talk, I love to talk about the sport. I love to learn. You know what I mean? I just had a meeting with a young man today, and I told him, all the things you're saying is good, but one thing you're lacking on is that you got to understand that in life, sometimes you got to open up the door for someone, and the next day somebody will open up the door for you. You cannot lead all the time. Right now I'm talking to you, you're listening to everything I'm saying. I'm leading. Tomorrow I'm in front of somebody and I'm just like you, sitting like this and learning, right? You have to understand when to be a leader and when to be a follower. And that there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. And that's the problem in today's society, is that everybody wants to lead. And the problem is that the blind are leading the blind.
You damn, yeah, you got that right.
Wow. We're gonna
Thank
leave
you,
it
fellas.
right there. We're gonna leave that right there. And like I said, I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight, man. And I'm looking forward every Sunday. We do this every Sunday. It's been great, man, and I can't wait for it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I appreciate everybody that shows up every Sunday and rock out with us. And man, thank you all, man. I really thank you. And we'll go around the panel real quick. If you want to give your social media or whatever, or anything last to say, please do so. Starting with George.
Just another, I totally enjoyed this panel, man, and I was surprised to see Manny, who's been a friend, and everything he says. I think a lot of people could learn a lot from Manny and what he does for the fighter and his vision. So, and I've covered I think most of his shows, and they're really, really, really great shows. So I can only say good things about Hard Hitting Promotion and Manny. So
Thank you, bro.
thank you for having him here, man. He has a wealth of knowledge, and he's a guy. He just doesn't say it; he does it. So it's great seeing Manny.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I
Appreciate it.
tell you what, thank you for introducing me to him. Because remember, that goes all the way back.
Yeah,
that goes all the way back. Yeah. Marvin.
Man, I just had a good night with y'all, man. See you next Sunday.
My man. Bernard.
As always, I look forward to Sundays. I look forward to this conversation. I like the way that everybody on the panel conducts themselves as men. I think because a lot of young people who watch this can see how we can have good interaction without disrespecting each other, even if we disagree with each other's opinions. So I think that's the bigger thing. I think this circle shows that it's more than just boxing. And for that, I appreciate all you gentlemen.
AQ.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, I got a lot of knowledge tonight from my man Manny here. And Bernard, I never seen your son fight before, but I'm gonna go see some film on him, man. Cause
I appreciate it.
I had Samson Lewis on last week, and I might want to have more. I had David Benavides on too, and so I want to go. Might want him on one day. He got time.
You're gonna
Okay.
be in for a treat then.
Okay. Oh man, I love it, man. Okay, I love it. So, but look, I thank you all. I appreciate it, and man, good show tonight, man. Great show. Yes, sir.
Manny.
Hey, once again, man, thank you. I've learned a lot. Like I said, if you don't learn something, you're doing something wrong. You should learn. My children teach me. My 6-year-old I learned from. I'm always opening to learning. So thank you, first of all, and second of all, man, Jay, thank you for inviting me. A lot of people don't see me in places and this and that. And I'm very selective in what I do. But I'm glad that you call me first and foremost, and that I had the will to be able to come in, because it was a great pleasure to be here. I'm gonna leave you with this. Nobody knows, but talking about the 140 division, I was fighting with myself whether to say it or not. But the 140 division, my next event in May is going to be with a 140 that I truly believe, that in the next few years he's going to be one of the names like we're talking about today, and that's Brandon Pizarro. And I'm gonna say it here first. You guys are gonna be the first, but he's fighting Josue. Oh my God, I just forgot his last name. Vargas, yes. So his next fight is going to be with Josue Vargas, which I believe is going to be a fight that Pizarro needs. One of those fights that he needs to get to that level of, the guys that we're talking about.
All right. Well, we appreciate you dropping that on us, man.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying? And I definitely gonna want to cover that fight. So I'm gonna get in contact with you so I can know what I need to do so I can be in the business.
Definitely, brothers. Peace and blessings. Have a great one.
All right. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
All right.
You all take it easy now. All righty, the chat, man. I appreciate y'all all in the chat for hanging out, rocking out, man. And I want to thank Troy Graham. I think he dropped out, man. But Troy, I thank you for coming in, man, and being definitely a great part of the show. So shout out to the Troy Graham experience. You dig? And I appreciate you, my guy, for sure. And yeah, man, I thank everybody that came in and rocked out with us all day. Thomas Morris, I appreciate the super chat you sent. And y'all know what? We're going to do it again first thing tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Don't meet me there, beat me there. You dig? Other than that, it's your boy Jay Hardcore Boxing News. I'm out of here. How you turn this damn thing off?